Hello my fellow YouTubers and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be working on fixing this outlet. The problem is whenever we go to plug anything in, it falls backwards and it's really hard to get anything plugged in. And once we try to pull it out, it doesn't really hold it in very well. So we're going to go ahead and fix that. And then it's also moving side to side, which I don't like. An outlet should always be stationary. So we want to go ahead and fix that. So right now I'm going to run outside. I'm going to go ahead and shut this outlet circuit off.
You're waiting for Daddy? Where is he? Your animals are waiting for you.
What's new? Wrong one.
Aw. The wrong one again?
They're not labeled.
Label them then.
You're enjoying this, aren't you?
Get it that time?
Nope.
And creepy.
You're really enjoying this, aren't you? A little too much, I think.
No, I'm just trying to get you footage. No?
No. Put away that camera.
You locked it that time. Confident.
No.
Overly confident. You got it this time. I believe in you.
I have a gut feeling it's going to be the next time. Alright, so it has to be one of the ones I've already marked.
Huh. Okay.
Are you using the internet?
Yeah, but you can go ahead and set it.
I did it. So it's either
Yay!
on the master bedroom circuit. Alright, that took way longer than it should have to flip a breaker, but I guess this outlet is either on the master bedroom outlet or the laundry room, so I'm not sure which one it is. Finally just flipped them both and said, I know it's off because all the lights here are off. If you don't have a circuit tester, you can just plug a vacuum into it and try to turn on the vacuum. If the vacuum turns on, you didn't get the right breaker. So super simple. For this today, we need a flathead and a Phillips head screwdriver, and then a wall spacer kit. I bought this one off of Amazon. It's just a bunch of little rubber spacers with a little diameter through them that allow us to basically push the outlet forward and make it a little bit more sturdy in there. So let's go ahead and take this plate off the wall. We got our little supervisor up front here. But if you look, the problem is this flange here is supposed to rest on top of the drywall. And what that does is it locks it in place, but they cut this just slightly too big. And what happens is that flange gets pushed back and there's nothing there to hold it in place. So the screw keeps it from coming forward. The wall keeps it from going backwards. Same thing is going down here on the bottom. It's not quite as bad because it's catching a little bit right here on the back. And down here, it looks like it used to be a pretty good cutout, but this corner got broken. So let's go ahead and quickly fix that. And the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna pull this off, measure this out, and that's the height that we want it at. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it at that mark. So I'm just gonna mark it with my finger, and then I'm gonna cut it with an X-Acto knife or scissors. And then we're gonna grab, I think the screw that's in there already will be good enough for this one actually, because it's pretty long. So the reason why we're using a hand screwdriver here and not like a power drill is taking it out, not a big deal to use the power drill on, but whenever you go to use the power drill putting it in, sometimes you can over torque the screw and just break it off, and then you gotta try to drill it out, and it's just not a fun situation. So take an extra 5 seconds, use the screwdriver, and it can save you a lot of headache in the long run. So all we do, slide that spacer behind here. Line it up. screw it back in. You want to make sure that it is level to the eye. If it's a little off, it's not going to really affect anything, just because these plates have a little bit of wiggle in them. So just kind of eyeballing it here. As you can see, that's already a lot more sturdy. Now let's fix this bottom one. Same thing as the top. We're going to stick it in. Mark the spot and cut. And look at the screw. The screw's nice and long on this one as well, so we don't have to replace the screw. But a lot of times when you're dealing with like contractor done stuff that's been like retrofitted and repaired a couple times, those screws are actually pretty short, so you don't have enough to get it to the right depth. So we lucked out on these ones, but like I said, this set came with a bunch of screws, so it's really quick and easy to do. And like I said, match it up where the back edge of this flange is right on there. And we can just do a quick eyeball test. That one I put in a little too far. This one's perfectly flush. That's nice. So let's go ahead and pull that last one out just a hair. Line up the plate. Screw it in, and as you can see, that doesn't move anymore. So let's tighten that up. You don't want to go too tight on that plate just because these are the plastic plates. So if you go too tight, you're just going to crack it right there and then you broke your plate. They're not super expensive, but at the end of the day, it's better not to have to go out to the store and buy another one. If your plate is still, like the outlet's still a little loose, what you can do is you can order metal plates online. And what that does is it gives you something to actually mount into, so it's a lot stronger of a hold, and you can't crack the metal, so you can really suction it in there if you need to just get that little bit of extra tightness to make it perfect. But as you can see here, nice and tight. Just grab the outlet tester. Plugs in all the way now. Plug it into the top one. A little bit of wiggle, but not bad, but way better than what it was before. So I'm pretty happy with that. These were, I believe, like $10 on Amazon. But if you actually go to like Home Depot or Lowe's, the little spacer kits that they sell, they're a little bit wider and you can fold them on top of each other to get the right height. They were way more expensive for the amount I was going to need to do because every single outlet in this house has this issue. So I'll show you a couple of the other outlets I have to fix today, and thanks for watching. All right guys, here's another outlet. If you get close to the wall here, you can actually see this one's like pulling out of the wall. So let's go ahead. I just have this lightly put on here just to where nobody sticks their finger in there and electrocutes themselves. So it's just super light. So let's go ahead and take this off and see what we need to do to fix this guy. So this one, the issue is this bottom guy. So if you look down here, there is a gap between the one side right there. So that gap is the issue. So as you can see, that is no good. Top half is good. So what we need to do is we need to push this bottom one in to get it nice and plumb and straight. Coming over here, this is the one that's probably the worst off. So this and this. Let's look at one more. This one right here is so bad that we're using the screw just to even be able to get anything plugged into it, but you know, super loose. And that is what's causing all the problems. It's the same cycle that we did on the first one. We just gotta keep going through it. All right, since I haven't finished fixing all the outlets downstairs, I just really wanted to quickly show you that I've got a rag here. I put a little bit of paint thinner on it. And what you can do with that is really get these switches cleaned up. So what we're gonna do, rub it down, a little bit of elbow grease to get it all off. And presto, as good as new. Beautiful clean switches, clean faceplate. I didn't take the time to strip the paint off those screws. I'm just gonna grab a couple stainless steel screws that I've got down in the garage and swap those out. But you can do the same thing on the plastic covers as well as this metal cover. All right, now that I've showed you guys how to clean the plates and make everything look as good as new, let's hop over into my office and let's explore what's actually going on behind an outlet so we can understand a little bit more about what they are doing behind the plastic. All right, guys, now that we're back in my office / guest bedroom, what we're gonna do is we're gonna understand the basics behind wiring an outlet from your breaker panel to the outlet, and then how that all ties back to what we saw out there, and just a little bit of understanding about it. So in the United States, we've run most of our outlets on 120 volts, and that's what this is. This is a 120 volt outlet, and it's wired via 3 wires from your breaker panel. You're gonna have your green, which is your ground, your black, which is gonna be your hot, and then your white wire, which is gonna be your neutral. But because white doesn't show up on the whiteboard, our white wire is gonna be blue. So the way this is gonna work, you have a ground bar outside your house somewhere that's tied into the ground. So you've got an iron bar tied into the ground, which feeds to your ground bar inside your panel. And then out to this bottom corner, there's a little outlet piece, and you're gonna screw that there, as well as into the outlet box. So this would be inside an outlet box, and it would tie into the outlet box as well. Next, you're gonna have your hot wire, which is gonna come out of the panel into the thing. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna look at the back of the outlet, and it's gonna tell you what color wire goes where. So for example, this one right here says white wire. So this is the same outlet, so I know this is your white. So this is gonna come over and tie in to that side. So looking at that really quick, so it'd be this side right here, and there's this little piece of metal right there connecting the two. So most of the time in residential applications, you're just gonna leave that alone. But if for some reason you wanna switch your outlet, or if it's fed via a different circuit, you'd break these tabs off on both sides. So if you do it all on one side, you gotta do it on the other side. It's just the best rule of thumb to follow. So at that point, then our white wire, which is blue in our diagram, is gonna come from the neutral bus bar and tie in. Super simple wiring, one outlet. But things get a little bit more complicated as you add more outlets and different types. So let's add another outlet just to show you how really simple this truly is. With my handy dandy outlet here, we're gonna tie this guy up there. Let's see if we can get it done before this one falls off, because it looks like it's about to fall soon. Unfortunately, all the duct tape was outside in the garage, and I was just feeling lazy today. So let's see if we can get lucky. So that's on one wall, this on another wall. So what we're gonna do is your green ground gonna come over to here, connect in, and also tie into the box that it's tied into. So anytime you have a metal outlet box, you're gonna ground your outlet box as well. And then we've got our hot wire, which is black, gonna come in, over, and tie in. So the nice thing about when you're using a single circuit is you've got the 2 screws. So the wire coming from your breaker panel can go into the top one, and then the one going to the next outlet is gonna go to the bottom one. That way you don't have to try to loop over wires, no wire nuts involved. It pretty much handles it all for you, which is really sweet. And then last but not least, our neutral wire, which is our white wire. I'm gonna hop over these guys to make sure it's really clear what we're doing here, and then hop over this guy and then tie in here. So what that's gonna allow it to do is this one can be plugged in, this one can be plugged in, and they all function independently of each other. So you've got 2 working outlets. All right, guys, one last diagram I wanted to show you is kind of how you want a outlet box to be wired in. And this is gonna be like from the side profile here. The drywall should come up and be flush with the junction box. The junction box shouldn't be set back, it shouldn't be set forward, it should be flush, maybe slightly behind the drywall edge. And the reason for this is, for this flange right here, the area below where this screw is, needs to sit on the drywall. So you need that much overlap between that and that, and then this screws into the junction box behind it. So in an ideal world, you have everything nice and flush. So the front edge of the drywall is flush with the front edge of the junction box, and it creates a nice seal. But occasionally you're gonna have that set back, and that's where you see the issues we came in today, where once it's set back, this front edge over time gets broken, and that's what those rubber spacers are for. So luckily, because they're rubber, it makes things a lot easier. So what it allows us to do is cut them a little bit bigger, and then as you screw it in, it squishes them, and it expands them in a circumference-wise, which allows us to really seal that thing in there and block any wiggle. So if you cut it perfectly to size and you just screw it in, it's gonna help, but it's not gonna help the cross torque. So the thing is still gonna rotate like this, but it won't go forward and backwards. So in order to cut back on the side-to-side motion, you really want to cut those spacers about 1/8 of an inch bigger than what you need, and just squeeze it on in there with a screwdriver. As you squeeze it in, that rubber is going to expand and fill up more space, and that's going to really make the outlet secure and stable. So that's my one tip and trick that I learned over the last couple of times of doing it is, that 1/8 inch is the perfect margin. Any more, it's really hard to screw it in. Any less, you don't get that perfect wiggle. Huh? You just want to be the superstar of the channel? Okay. You're the new super doggy. You're the super doggy. Super doggy. Super doggy? Oh. So we don't want it to fall.